Think of a challenge or a problem that you currently have. We often hear the problem won't resolve itself, but what if it could? What if our challenge only persists because we're holding it there with our thoughts, essentially stopping the flow of the life force energy that can bring us the resolution? This podcast is all about helping you and your spiritual growth so that you can overcome obstacles and manifest your destiny to crystallize and materialize any dream, basically to have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. So let's get started. Hi there and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women just like you dissolve the obstacles in your path so you can bring success to you. Now let's get started with today's video. Okay, let me jump off the screen here and switch over to my laptop. And you guys are welcome to join me on video or on the audio. If you're listening in through iTunes or one of the others, you can jump over to my website at unlockyourhiddenpower.com, and that's where you'll find the video. And we are going to be using a graphic today, so this is your cue to jump on over to video if you'd like. So, we often hear the problem won't resolve itself, but what if it could? What if our challenge only persists because we're holding it there with our thoughts, thinking about how to resolve it? As we ruminate and toss it over in our minds, are we essentially stopping the flow of the life force energy that's trying to bring us to a successful resolution? If you'd like to see success in full abundance along life's journey, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self instead of the lower ego thinking and negative thoughts that push success away, then this is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with the higher energies of our soul's path instead. Today's episode is for you if you wonder, can a problem resolve itself if we think about it differently? How do we unknowingly stop the flow of life force energy? And how can we get it moving again? And what's the number one best way to change our outcome to something positive? Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy. Because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck. It's our energy about it that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of the situation. It's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations and the negative thoughts that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much, well, that's where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those positive thoughts and emotions can change the course of our journey. We did an episode last week about overthinking, and someone asked me, but problems won't resolve themselves. We're given a brain so that we can work through the problem. And so I'd like you to consider the possibility that an obstacle only persists if we hold it there with our thoughts. Because as we ruminate about this challenge, we may have thoughts of overwhelm, we may be nervous, or we may even feel just plain nauseous. And these thoughts all carry a vibration. Our every thought affects our vibration. That's the only thing that affects our vibration is our thought. And our vibration is the only thing that ever affects our outcome. So if we are vibrating with negative thoughts and emotions, we are essentially stopping the flow of the life force energy that's trying to bring us to a resolution. As we stop this life force energy, we're locking in our challenge. We're locking it into a stuck position, holding the challenge right in place with our thoughts. And once the momentum gets rolling in that direction, it can be really difficult to redirect that momentum, right? So today I have a really cool exercise for you that I think you're going to love. It's all about how to move the energy and get it going in a different direction. Now, I realize there's a lot of talk out there about identifying the blocks and barriers that are in our way. And by now, you probably know that I have a bit of distaste in some of these methods. For one, it can be nearly impossible to find the actual block. And all the time we spend trying to find it, we're resonating with the idea that we're blocked. Our thoughts are locked into this idea that we have a block or a barrier or a limiting belief. And I've watched people stay in this locked up emotional place for years. And it just breaks my heart. From a law of attraction perspective, this is an unbelievable misuse of our energy. Now, I get it. There's something exhilarating about finding what's held us back for years and years and blowing it all to bits. But I also watch a lot of people stay in these negative emotions, swirling around and floundering in confusion and beating themselves up. Why do we need to find the block? Why? There's more than one way to blow it to bits, and that's what we're going to do today. Now, let's talk about this idea of thoughts and see where they are right now. I'd like you to think of a challenge you're having in present time. It could be smaller, it could be something big, just any challenge. We're going to go through the exercise today for a challenge you have right now, and then you'll be able to use it for any other challenge in the future. I want you just to get an idea of how this might work for you. So think of a challenge. It could be prosperity, it could be health, it could be a relationship, a career, something that's a challenge for you right now. And just grab hold of the first thought you have. No judgment, just grab a thought. Maybe your thought is, I'm not making the kind of money I should be making right now. And so think of this thought and then grab a quick feeling to match it. Maybe the feeling is frustration. As you know, that was a chronic feeling for me for so many years, frustration. So grab a thought, then a feeling or a vibration that matches the thought you've been having. All right. You know, I'm not a big person on feeling our feelings because for some people, this keeps them in re-stimulation or it keeps them tapped into ego's negative feelings. Whatever is challenging them just stays hot to the touch, it stays charged up, and the negative feelings become a habit or a pattern. So I'm not a big person on feeling our feelings. So, why did I ask you to identify a thought and a feeling to match the thought? Because I do have a twist on this method of feeling our feelings. And I hope you enjoy this because it's a pretty good tool to go from the negative feelings that can suck us under and very quickly transform us into a more productive mindset. Because we want to be sure that our emotions, our vibration, isn't stopping the flow of life force energy. All right. So you have this challenge in mind, right? In this moment, you have a challenge in your present work life or home life, and you've matched a feeling or a vibration to it, right? So, I'm not a feel your feelings person. And what I mean by this is feelings are often just words to me and not feelings. Since I'm an author, I use my words. And because I use these words, sometimes the feelings are just neutral to me. It's kind of a work hazard. Keeps me up there in my head. So it takes me a little effort personally to identify a feeling. And maybe you've had the same experience, especially if you carry a more masculine energy. So I'm going to put a feeling wheel up on the screen for you. Let me advance my slides here for you a little bit and get that wheel. There we go. Now you can Google the term feeling wheel or feelings wheel and find several to choose from. This is one of my favorites, although it isn't perfect by any stretch. For instance, sometimes I feel kind of unbiased, not really content, but not really sad or angry either. I might call it discontent. And as you look at this wheel, you'll see that some of the primary emotions are a little on the extreme side for someone like me and maybe someone like you who's mostly balanced and not really imbalanced. And you might see what I mean as you look at it here. On the inner part of this wheel, we have some extreme emotions like angry, fearful, sad, happy. And sometimes I feel kind of neutral or indifferent, at least until I can dig in and really investigate what's bothering me about a particular situation. So you can do an internet search to find one of these wheels that works for you, one that can help you identify a feeling or a vibration. And let me be clear, We're looking to identify the actual vibration because the universe responds to our vibration, right? Okay, so on the screen, I got this particular wheel at feelingswheel.com, feelingswheel.com, and we'll use it for this exercise. Once you get an idea of how this works, you can jump on the internet and find one that works well for you. So take a moment to reflect on your current challenge and the thought you have about it, and then choose 2 or 3 emotions that represent how you feel about this challenge you're in. You might start right there in the middle and maybe choose the category called fearful. And then as you look at the smaller options available, maybe the ones that speak to you the most are scared and anxious. And then moving into those smaller categories, maybe the one that you choose next is worried. And as you look at these 3 words, maybe you decide that, well, anxious and worried are too similar. Maybe puzzled is a better way to describe how you're vibrating around this particular challenge. So you can see how this wheel becomes a jumping off point to identify other emotions, right? So, as an example, your 3 words are scared, anxious, and puzzled. See how that works? You don't have to do 3 words specifically. It could be whatever best helps you tap into the vibration that you're carrying right now about this challenge. I want you to be honest, be real, and choose the vibrations that represent how you feel about where you are, because I'm going to show you how to transform any challenge you may be going through now or in the future. Just be as honest and real as you can right now and get an idea of how this will work. All right? So you have a real challenge in mind, and so let's go through this exercise. Choose your 2 or 3 words or vibrations, write them down on a piece of paper or on the slate of your imagination if you prefer. And then when you've done that, I'd like you to go to the opposite side of the wheel. When you have your 2 or 3 words, move to the opposite side of the wheel and do the same for how you'd like to feel. Now, remember that a few minutes ago, we said that our thoughts all carry a vibration. Our every thought affects our vibration. That's the only thing that affects our vibration is our thought. And our vibration is the only thing that ever affects our outcome. So if we're vibrating with a positive vibration, we can transform our challenge into the best possible outcome. So let's go back to this wheel. So you've looked at your 3 negative emotions, if you will. Now we're on the other side of the wheel to look at how we'd like to feel about our situation. Maybe we move to the category called happy. For me, I would immediately see that word optimistic. And then maybe I'd choose the words successful and inspired. Or maybe I like the word confident. And then I look over there and I see the word curious, but no, I don't necessarily want to feel curious in my particular challenge. That isn't the right fit. See how this works? We feel our way toward the vibrations that we want to resonate with, and we want to reach for those vibrations, even if they feel a little out of touch in this moment. We're reaching so that we can expand our energy. All right. So choose 2 or 3 words that describe how you'd like your vibration to resonate about your challenge. So now you should have 2 or 3 words that represent how you've been feeling and 2 or 3 words that represent how you'd like to feel in overcoming this challenge. All right. So you have 2 or 3 words that represent how you've been feeling, plus 2 or 3 words to represent how you'd like to feel in overcoming this challenge. I would like you to close your eyes if you can and draw a circle out in front of you on an imaginary wall. Take one of the words about how you've been feeling and draw it as a word inside that circle. We'll call these the bad words, not to place judgment, but only so you can easily follow this exercise. Maybe your word is uncertain or puzzled or annoyed. Whatever your first word is, go ahead and imagine this word inside the circle. And then add in your next word and the next one until each of your bad feeling words are inside this circle. Notice that the words are black against a white background. And then notice that you can change them to be white words against a dark background. Notice that each word could be a different color or a different size. They can fade to where they have fuzzy edges. Just notice that you have the ability to change what you're seeing. Now imagine that circle with the words moves down flat on the floor in front of you. Now, move that circle in the words back up so it's in front of you again. And then move the circle off to your left and then swing it over to your right. As you notice that with your thoughts, you can move this circle and the words inside of it anywhere you'd like to place it, behind you or anywhere at all. But bring the circle back in front of you and then push it way off in the distance. Then bring it back up close right to your nose and then push it away about 6 feet in front of you and let it rest there as if the circle and the words have been painted onto a wall. Now envision the words inside the circle. Notice that they can become larger or smaller. So make them smaller. Make them smaller again, and smaller, and smaller. Make them so small, it's like an eye chart where you can't even see them anymore at all. Really, really tiny. Now be sure that you've made the circle smaller as well. Both the circle and the words, both are getting smaller and smaller. You'll notice they've gotten so small, they aren't even on the wall in front of you. In fact, the wall has disappeared, dissolved. And the circle filled with these tiny words is beginning to travel away from you, farther and farther in the distance, farther out and up into the atmosphere, so far out, in fact, the image has pixelated and evaporated into and out of our atmosphere. And here you are in present time. You feel lots of open space around you, free of those feelings that were once there but are now gone. You feel lighter, brighter, better, stronger, lots of open space around you, and you're free of those words and those thoughts. Take a moment, breathe in pure, positive light. Take a moment to breathe in life force energy. Take a moment for a lovely, clean, pure breath as you remember your 2 or 3 positive words that you've written down. It's okay to glance at them on your piece of paper if you need to. Imagine your first positive word of how you'd like to feel and breathe it into every fiber of your body, every living cell of your heart, every part of your soul. Breathe in the feeling represented by this first word that you've written down. Breathe it in. If your word is joy, just breathe in joy and allow it to fill every part of your being. Breathe it in. Allow it to fill who you are and all the space around you. When you're filled up with this feeling, take notice of the next word and breathe that one in the same way. Allow this next word to fill every part of you, every part of your heart and soul, every part of every chakra, and all the space around you. Breathe it in. Transmute anything that needs to be transformed. Allow this vibration into every part of your being. Then imagine your next positive word. Breathe that one into every fiber of your body, every living cell of your heart space, every part of your inner being through and through. Breathe in the feeling represented by this second word. Breathe it in. If your word is courage or strength or inspiration, whatever it is, just breathe it in. Allow it to fill every part of your soul. Breathe it in. Allow it to fill who you are and all the space around you. Lastly, take notice of your third positive word and breathe that one in the same way. Allow it to fill every part of you and all the space around you. Breathe it in. Transmute anything that needs to be transformed. Allow this vibration into every part of your being. Allow this vibration to join the other positive vibrations. And as you do this, if any mantra or affirmation comes to mind as you breathe in and relish and enjoy these words, that's okay. If any realization comes to you, that's all right. Realizations come when they come. If you're simply enjoying these feelings and the realizations haven't surfaced just yet, that's okay. Enjoy the vibrations. Enjoy this energy. And as you continue in this good vibration, I'd like you to look back on this exercise, reflect on it as a whole, the whole entire exercise. And I'd like you to recognize as you're reflecting over the entire exercise that it's all energy. Everything around you is energy. Any challenge you might go through, any negative feelings, and any positive feelings. It's all little particles of energy, little particles of energy that are vibrating. Can you see that? Can you feel it? Notice as well the challenge you've been going through. It isn't real. It may appear real, but it's actually an illusion, also a collection of little energy particles that can pixelate and evaporate and disappear at any moment. Can you feel that? Even if you felt puzzled or anxious or uncertain, these are all little energy particles that can disappear in any moment. They're part of the illusion, a collection of little pieces of energy. And at any moment in time, with your command, with your thoughts, these little pieces of energy can evaporate and be replaced with new energy particles, new thoughts, new feelings, new vibrations. And you can almost watch a dance in front of you, a dance of particles of energy, a dance between your thoughts and those challenges that seem so real, but you're seeing now that it's a dance. It's a dance between your thoughts. And all these tiny little particles of energy respond to your every thought, good or bad. And as you continue to soak this in, hear me when I say, life is unfolding just beautifully. Life is unfolding just beautifully. Life is unfolding just beautifully, and I'm open to possibilities even greater than I've imagined. Can you feel the vibration? Life is unfolding just beautifully, and I'm open to possibilities even greater than I've imagined. And as you hold these thoughts, begin to come back to present time. Breathe in your positive words, your 2 or 3 positive words. And as you breathe them in, remember, life is unfolding just beautifully. And be open to possibilities even greater than you've imagined. And as you're ready, come on back to present time. How was that? How was the vibration? How was the experience with these energies? You know, this is an exercise that you can do with yourself, with a child, or even a friend who's going through a challenge. And it works quite well with so many situations. And if you have a different mantra that works well for you, of course, use whatever works for you. And if a realization came to you during this exercise, well, be sure and write that down so you don't lose track of it. The idea is to stop trying to fix our problems because our thoughts about the challenge are what holds it in place. And since our thoughts are energy, we want to move this energy by moving our thoughts about it. When we move the energy into a new place, the resolution can simply evolve. Or more often than not, the challenge will dissolve itself because we're no longer holding it in place with our thoughts about it. Nothing holds it there. And this allows for something beautiful to unfold instead. Any obstacle we have is simply a catalyst for our spiritual growth. And a large part of our spiritual growth is simply choosing not to play with the obstacle, not to hold it in place with our negative thoughts about it, but to play in a higher frequency, to experience those higher and better thoughts that can bring about transformation. As we empower ourselves towards self-expression and who we are at our core, without the negative thoughts and emotions that can train us, we're choosing a higher frequency, higher and better thoughts, because our choice of frequency, our choice of more positive emotions, changes the course of our journey. So reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? Remember that whatever challenge we're experiencing, it's simply a collection of energy particles that can dissipate in any moment. We simply want to be sure that our emotions, our thoughts about it, aren't stopping the flow of life force energy that's trying to bring about a transformation. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. This podcast is all about helping you have success on your spiritual growth journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. If you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com, or you may not know that you can schedule a one-on-one session with your own personal unstuckologist, that's me, by visiting instantbreakthroughsession.com. This private session is designed to help you tap into your greatest resource, that's you, and together we can make quite a team toward calling in the transformational powers of alchemy. In our time together, we'll uncover your single biggest stuck point, that one that you maybe can't see. We'll also go over the most genius way to create clarity so you can just move forward while one obstacle after another is obliterated. And we'll create a strategy to get you moving in a really good direction, one that's aligned with your life purpose. If this sounds like a match made in heaven, you can hop on over to instantbreakthroughsession.com right now and book the time slot that works best for you. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.